Good afternoon, everyone. We are 100 Years Enterprise. Here we are. We still shooting Episode 6, Consequences of the Street Life. We have a beautiful brother that we bringing in. We're going to go into his background. But before we go into his background, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Fahim.
Dante.
Patrick.
And again, we are 100 Years Enterprise. This brother, he grew up in Oakland, California. He brings over 16 years of experience working with the youth, graduated from California State University, East Bay. He received his BA's bachelor's degree in recreation and concentrating on youth development programming. This brother, he's highly motivated. He has a proven record of generating, building relationships, supervising, and managing projects from concept to completion, designing educational strategies, and coaching youth to success. In 2007, this brother started working at Mount Diablo Cares in Bay Point as a recreation specialist until 2011. In late 2012, he sees an opportunity to work as a safety service professional staff at UCSF, Benoist Children's Hospital in Oakland, California. He told us, he said he was not satisfied with doing that. We're going to get into it why he wasn't satisfied, right? But his mission became to work with at-risk youth. And we want to welcome my man Jeremy to the show. Jeremy, how you doing today?
I'm feeling lovely, man. So it was a great day. Great to be in guys' presence. Shout out 100 Years. Shout out Cobiz. Thank you to be here today.
Yeah,
Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. You know, we crossed paths a while ago, you know, in Juvenile Hall, Contra Costa County, Martinez, and we told ourselves once we had our brief introduction that we was going to bring you on the show, and you know, we reached out, and you decided to come on the show.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, in brief, you know, tell us. I know I read your bio, not all of it, but this all just happened. We just finna have a conversation. And why you decide to get into the recreation department?
Man, I was 16. I was messing up, you know, a little bit up in school. So I decided, you know, I had like this counselor that wanted me to get a job. So I kind of like fell into it. So with jobs they had, you know, you work at the school program with elementary schools, things like that. And so it was like you got an opportunity to work for like a month or two, some quick stipend, and you could do it after school, get paid. I was like, all right, cool, you know, keep me out of trouble, do something, stay on track. I actually liked it. The kids respected me. I had to build like programs and do stuff with them, create talent shows and help them with homework and reading, and I actually started liking it. And then when my hours ran out, the staff was like, we like you, want to hire you full time. So that full time turned into 4 years. So it's just, you know, once I found out something that I was good at, kids gravitated towards me. So that's something that I fell in love with, and I'm glad I did, because at 16 I was working with kids as a kid myself. So that led me to everything why I'm here now. So my passion for kids started at 16, working with kids as a youth myself.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
You don't mind, because, you know, I heard you say you was from Oakland, California, right? You don't mind me jumping in here. What part of Oakland you from?
So I grew up on 98th, Brookfield.
Ooh, yeah. I went to Elmhurst for a year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I know all about it. I just want to say, in regards to how you know, what you discussed and what we just read in your bio, how did you pivot? What made you decide to say, okay, you know, I'm in this zone, right? Doing what you're doing. How you pivoted to, you know, dealing with at-risk youth, if you don't mind me asking.
So, we gonna keep it real, you know. So, I was getting in a lot of trouble, you know, running around the streets, doing things I wasn't really supposed to be doing. So, like, growing up in the area on 98th and Brookfield, you know, a lot of my family members, you know, they didn't make it. You know, my mom was born and raised there. I was raised in, the same house. I got a lot of siblings. Grew up seeing a lot of murder, a lot of, selling drugs. That was a normal thing. You know, I remember at 5 years old, somebody killed right in front of my pretty much doorstep, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, not knowing it's real, and, and just thinking it's like some type of movie. And I'm just seeing things, growing up in the 90s was crazy. It got so crazy, they had to move us out of Oakland, and it's just like, but me, I just kept going back. It's just something about going back just is exciting, and it's just like, but now I'm so glad that the opportunity came that I actually moved away, because some of the people that I know are either dead in jail, and it's like, I got an opportunity to change and grow, but also never forget where you come from. So I got to see the things that I thought was normal wasn't normal, so And what's the other part of the question?
That was part of it.
Okay.
Because I was just thinking about Dame Dollar and Oscar Grant.
Oh, yeah.
All them guys come from Brookfield too.
Yeah. So Dame. So actually, Dame Dollar. He from Clare Street up the street. So actually, my play sister Diamond. That's her blood cousin. So I actually grew up seeing Dame a lot. We actually the same age, and it's like, and he was a very humble, dude growing up. Always played basketball. Always kept his nose clean, staying out of trouble. Staying focused. Brookfield is pretty much it's a village. So basically, like everybody like pretty much know each other, and it's like it's a community. We got the recreation center. Now it's called the East Oakland. Sports, like a lot of stuff changed, but like when I was growing up, my whole block is like, it was pretty much just black. I knew everybody, and it's like things change. You go back, and it's like I pretty much like one person that I grew up is pretty much still stay there. Everybody pretty much moved, sell their property or things happening. Oakland pretty much itself is changing a lot, so it's just like a lot of people don't even live in Oakland. They just come back, and that's why a lot of people hang out at these stores and things like that because they don't technically live there. They in Antioch, they in Pittsburgh, they in Modesto, Sacramento, all kind of places, due to like Section 8 and moving out. That's why a lot of people hang out in Oakland. If you look at the news, it said teen slain from, Antioch, but really they from Oakland, but they go back, or even in Richmond. You look around in Richmond, Richmond would be all black, but due to, gentrification, things like that, you can ride around, you really don't see how it used to be in the early 2000s and stuff. And like I got a lot of folks from Richmond, none of them live in Richmond, so it's crazy. But but like I said, Oakland's a tourist area. You think about all the people coming up from that area. It's a lot of major figures and a lot of legendary moments and people that you will see.
Brother Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say this, right? I commend you for not being a victim to the streets.
Thank you.
Even though you said you got into a little trouble, but when I see brothers like you, that come from these inner cities and didn't get caught up like all three of us, we went to the pen at a very young age. So for you to see the things that was going on in Oakland, man, I commend you for not allowing yourself to get caught up like we did, at a very young age. I went to prison, I was 17. I think we was 16. Both of us was 17. I think Hamza was 19. Yeah. So when I see brothers like you, I just, tip my hat off because it's truly a blessing that you didn't fall victim to the streets. So I want to ask you this, right? What allowed you to not get deep into the streets?
Well, I'm back up a little bit. I almost fell victim to the streets. I have got arrested multiple times. I got a couple stories you can see. I got grades in my head. I done seen a lot of death, lost a lot of people. I ain't saying I'm perfect, but through my experience, me getting in trouble. So I'm gonna go back. I got in trouble. I was 20 years old. Caught a case. I was in a car with some people. They found some weapons. Got blamed for some weapons. Things like that. About to go to trial, getting ready to go off, to the pen and things like that. And what happened was, by the grace of God, I was putting in like a diversion program. Okay. Pretty much, it was called Crossroads. Shout out Judge Goodman. That was the first time in my life. I'm gonna be honest, that to see like that is actually good people in in the judicial system. This man put me in I was about to go to trial. He was just like, we know it ain't yours, but, it was in your backpack and things like that. And I know, they got this no stitching bullshit. I'm sorry. Because,
it's good, mate.
And he was kind of like, really, he has a little cape thing on, was in the back in the chambers, and he was talking. He was like, listen, I'll put you in this program. If you get stopped by any police, you're going to do your time. They're going to give me 3 years. You get this, you're going to jail. You're going to go to college, you're going to work, you're going to do this, you're going to put in this program, but you make me look bad anyway, just this and this, you're getting in trouble. Like, I'm not going to waste my time. You can put in this program. You got a chance to get your record expunged. And this is, I had my dad and my mom. They was there. They said, I never see, especially African-American family, they've been coming to court you this whole time. I know you a good kid. Yes. You got caught in some stuff. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Am I doing the right thing? My dad looked at me. R.I.P. my dad. He passed a few years ago. He looked at me. He said, what? Because my dad did time in the pen.
Okay.
Pretty much, it's crazy. Pretty much same thing. Same gun, Mac 11, got in the car with some people, got blamed. He went away for 3-4 years. So it was like, he knew everything. So he's like, I'm not gonna let this happen to you. So I ended up being in the diversion program, and guess what? It saved my life. I would not be here right now if I didn't go through this adversity in my life. I ended up going to Laney College, enrolling in school. I wasn't really concerned. Like, I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know what for.
Yes.
Right? So being in this program made me go to college and had to get a job. That's how I got into the security field. I was like, let me get a job. And I had cases, I had felonies pending. So they was like, well, we got to make it a misdemeanor so you can get to go to work and you can go to school. I ended up getting a 4.0 all through Laney, graduating early, year and a half, getting my AA in African American Studies because I got interested in learning about myself. That's how I got into it myself. I started reading books, Malcolm X. I started reading Grace and Wrath. I started knowing about the Black Panthers. I'm being real. I didn't know nothing about myself. I just knew the streets. I just knew making music, running around, going back to the neighborhood, talking to girls, you know what I mean? Just regular stuff. And I didn't realize how small my mindset was. It was just, I just knew my neighborhood and people was around me and just kicking it and just doing stuff I wasn't really supposed to be doing. So me actually getting in trouble had me step back, assess my life. Either I'm going to go to prison or I'm going to get myself together. That was the best decision I ever made. When the moment I stepped back, got myself together, I started seeing things happen to other people. I lost a lot of people, stayed out of a lot of trouble, but also was able to get my education and tap into a different, to better myself.
That's what's up. Again, I tip my hat off to you, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Judge Goodman.
Yes, sir. He retired too,
He
man.
retired?
He retired, man.
Yeah.
I wish he's still here because dude retired, man. Y'all know DB Bedford? So he actually worked with him too. So he actually changed his life too. So he actually from Brookfield too. He grew up in the same neighborhood, but so he was in that program too. That's actually how he got his start with juvenile hall too. Because I actually started working in juvenile hall too. But
that's a blessing.
It's funny too. I'm gonna just add that it's funny because y'all know that he was the judge that convicted me
Oh, okay.
Right?
in my case.
he did?
Yeah.
He don't play no games.
It's a
either.
strong history.
Yeah.
It's a strong history.
Yeah.
We'll save for another time. But I was
Right.
glad he did some good work for you, man.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you said something. Oftentimes, we leave a situation. So, what drives you to go back to your neighborhood? Because you giving and you living somewhere else, but you do your work back in the community. What made you say, okay, all this goes on because you saw a lot. And oftentimes, folks say, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they don't take it back to their community. What made you decide to go back to the community to do the work what you do?
I'm actually glad you asked me that question because a lot of us, we forget where we come from.
Exactly.
And I see it all the time. You start making money, you start doing bigger and better things, you forget where you come from. You don't reach back to the people that can be just like you, that never had the opportunities you had.
Staying grounded.
You gotta stay grounded. So first thing I thought about was like, I want to start in Oakland. The reason why I want to start in Oakland with my nonprofit is because a lot of people could benefit.
It's not your nonprofit.
Stu 212, music therapy, coping, and creativity. So I decided to start there because I knew that they had the reward was greater, and I know the risk was going to be tough. So I knew I could start anywhere. I can be working in Concord, Martinez, or whatever other places, Antioch, Pittsburgh, but the trouble's in Oakland. The youngsters, we just lost 3 teenagers last weekend.
Yes.
So it's like they 16, 17, 18. So it's like you have to start somewhere where you can be effective, because a lot of us, give back, but it's not about giving back, it's about how you give back. So for me, it's like I want to give to the less privileged kids that ain't got it. So I started at a school, my first contract was the Street Academy. Then I have a music program, then had access to the studio. I have a mobile studio, that I bring. And I gave away over 7 to 8 pair of shoes, Air Forces, and was investing in these kids. But actually, I started seeing like, man, these kids got some real issues. Like half of them can't go to school, or they got holes in their shoes, or they not eating, or they got these problems in the streets. They losing their cousins at a rapid rate. They parents is on drugs. And when I'm talking to them, I'm like, that's when I start bringing food, because it's like I started talking to some, and they was like, I ain't ate nothing all day. And they like, or this happened to me, or you see these little girls, you see these grown men picking them up. You like, hey man, that's who's dude? Like, and I'm seeing this stuff. I'm like, damn, like my eyes is open. Like this is, high school, but you start seeing like when you start working around with kids, you start seeing like a lot of them have to grow up really fast because the parents not in their life, dad's not there. Knowing what a woman is, that's completely gone.
Innocence being stripped from them.
Yes.
Yep. And you notice that every time I ask them, like, do you have somebody you can talk to, like a mentor or somebody that guides you in the right direction? 90% of the time, they say no. They always teach me how to do bad stuff. I got older homies and things like that, but I never really see nobody speaking positive of life into these kids. And they need that. Kids actually want structure, but they don't have it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And but like you said, man, going back, I think it counts when you go back to, you give back where you came from, or similar, environments, because you can move out of state and things like that. But start somewhere where the change can mean a lot.
And it feels good too.
It sure do.
Because when we talk about give back, right? I mean, I probably could speak for all of us. Is we help destroy our community. Growing up, so it was a must that we came out here, and help these youngsters navigate, so they won't continue to make early death decisions. So it's a blessing because we all can contest to this. Growing up, we ain't had no mentors either. All the cats we was with, hanging out with, they weren't saying, boy, go to school, go continue, playing baseball, go continue to go swimming. They was like, man, this is how you get money. So we didn't have it either. So now we want to change the narrative. We want to come out here and get at these youngsters, so they won't continue to make early death decisions. And again, man, I truly commend you because if it was more of us, I think our neighborhoods would be a lot better. So this just, so this should be a wake-up call for especially some of these OGs that's out there doing the same thing that's misleading these youngsters. Because, we got cats there on the block, it's misleading the youngsters. It's okay to carry a pistol. No, it's not okay to carry a pistol. Because guess what? If you carry a pistol, this what can happen. This is the impact that you can cause, throughout the neighborhood, somebody's family, as well as your family, as well as your life. Wind up in prison 43 or 20 years or 50 years to life. Is that what you want? So I ain't gonna quit saying that. I commend you, brother.
Yes,
For
sir.
the work that you do in your community and going back to Oakland because that's where it's needed at in these inner cities.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely.
I appreciate that, and that's why I'm actually in Richmond too. Working in some of the schools out here in the Rise Center because Oakland and Richmond like cousins. Like really got to be a part of. Like you said, we came from being the problem to trying to help solve the problem. So I'm big on that, and I commend all you guys too, collectively doing 100 years, but coming together to do something positive.
Yes,
like you said, I was be in environments, in different environments, not thinking about the decisions I was making. But thank God that I'm still here, and I ain't did too much, but I was able to learn and change my ways. And it's not about what we did before; it's about what we doing now.
Exactly.
All of us sitting here together now. It's trying to do something for the better, for the positive, and come together and make things happen. Because guess what? Kids gonna listen to people that got experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, we grew up in the streets. Yeah, we from here, but look what we doing now. I stay telling kids like, yeah, I was a rap, yeah, I was signed, yeah, I was this and that. But look, this is what I'm doing now. Because nowadays, when I'm making music or run these kids, the first thing they think about is sliding, killing, pose, everything that what they see on social media. And like you said, you start telling them about the consequences between carrying pistols and things like that, putting switches on stuff. They not playing with y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
People out here really dying. I lost like 2 to 3 youth in the last month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, life ain't no joke. You ain't coming back. You ain't gonna fall out the sky like a video game and come and restart. Like, no, you did. You got one life to live. And it's like, my main thing is when I talk to a youth, I make sure I tell them the truth. I don't try to sugarcoat nothing. I tell them a way they can, they can understand, and it's a good deliverance because guess what? I might not see you tomorrow. That's how real life is. And some of these kids get shot, and they hit me. Oh, so and so got shot. They got on the high speed. They broke his leg, or this happened. This. And I'm like, man, I gotta do more of a job to make sure that when I'm talking to these youth, something happened. I should be in their head or in the back of my mind, like, nah, don't get in that car. Nah, don't go do this.
Right.
I stopped the kid that said that he's about to do something stupid. He said that he's about to go do something due to one of his family members. Something happened, right? And someone said, talk to this youth. And I can tell like something was on his mind because he kept looking at me and was like, it's like God put something in your heart, like when something being affected.
Yeah.
So I ended up staying like 1 or 2 hours after class one day, and he was like, he's about to put in some work on somebody that put his hands on his sister. So it's just things like that. We got to follow our heart, and we got to lead by example. Ain't no, yeah, you should go. No, it's like, nah, you got to think about it. You can't go do this because this is going to happen. You got to think about it. Whatever you think you're going to do, think about the consequences. I can't stop you from what you about to do, but I can tell you that's not the way you want to go about it. So we got to be able to talk, life into these youngsters, let them know your life is more than what it is. You 16, about to do something that you're going to be going with forever.
Exactly.
And I think, too, I wanted to say something, because that was powerful what you said about going back to your community, right? Mm-hmm. I think for us as 100 years, when I'm just going to, I got to say this, because we got out, it was all about timing, right? Because it's very, our communities are very complex in how they arrange, how they change, and all these different things, right? And so, us coming home and recognizing, what our intentions is to come back to our communities and try to make change, it was a challenge, particularly personally for me, because when I first came home, and I intended to gauge all the people that I grew up with, either was dead or old, right? What I mean by old when they thinking, they disconnected from the youth, right? They still living off what they was in the 80s or, similar to that. And it was a huge disconnect, right? And so recognizing that in order for us to help, and I think the good thing for us, and I speak for us three, is that when we was in the pen, a lot of youth we was able to, the climate we was dealing with, a lot of youth used to look to us and talk to us and engage us and stuff like that, right? In a reform of having their best interests at heart. So for me, I was able to come back and really learn how to listen to the youth and what they really coming from, instead of putting my own spin on it. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, and the biggest thing I had to adapt was, sad but true, when I went back to my neighborhood, which is Bushrod Park, I didn't get embraced like I thought I was. It was a whole different climate. And we talked about that, right, a couple of weeks ago. So I had to understand that things have changed, right? And the concept is get in where you fit in is very true, right? Because you go where you most need it. And that's what I recognized, right? And I was like, damn, okay, cool. But now seeing brothers like you, like I said, I commend you, man. Seeing brothers like you connecting and having that, how can I say, that understanding from layer to layer, right? It's something that's needed, that you can stand on what you believe in. Because sometimes we be wavering, and we be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm trying to do good, but I'm still doing this over here. So the kids see all that. Yeah. Right. And so that's what I commend you for making that stance, getting educated, changing, and evolving, and making sure that the things you put out is positive. I think that's a testament of someone like yourself and someone we trying to do on a constant basis to keep that continuity in regards to how we perceive, and the positive energy that we try to put out to steer the youth from making early death decisions. I think that's heavy in what you were saying. So I commend you for that too.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And answer your question about that is like, one thing you got to go where you celebrate, not where you tolerate it. It might not work in Bushrod. I was living down the street from there a few years ago, so I'm very familiar. Sankofa, I'm sure I was trying to get in that school too. It's just about maybe you don't start in Bushrod. Maybe you start, I don't know, Gaskill or somewhere, But when people see you start doing the work, they're not always gonna respect it. And it's like, when I started, believe it or not, I've been doing this for a little bit over a year. And it make it seem like people's like, I swear you've been doing it 10 years. You got proclamation from the mayor, senator. You got all these awards, but I don't count the proclamation certificates and things like that, because my success is the youth. Right. The youth is, if I ain't reaching them, if I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do, what do a paper mean? What does that mean? And the reason why I went back to school is so I can be able to build these programs and be able to have the right to say I build this. Respect my work, I can do this type of stuff. So a lot of us go to college and do things and not realize that when you make these type of moves, you got to make it benefit yourself. So one thing that I noticed, like when you said about going back to the neighborhood, a lot of people not going to embrace you. A lot of friends, you might not get support from your friends or your family. A lot of support I got is from people I don't even know. Just mad.
Right.
I'm gonna be real. Let's be real. Let's be real.
All the time, yeah.
People that's gonna support you the supporters are gonna come from people you don't know, and then people gonna jump on board once they see you putting in the work. Yeah. People always want to celebrate with you when you win, but when you losing and you trying to figure things out and you come up with these ideas, a lot of people gonna shoot them down. They gonna be like, Now I don't know about that. Man, you used to be like so and so. I remember you used to do that. All they do is to remind you who you used to be and not who you trying to be. So don't let nobody stop you. You gotta push past that. Like,
Most definitely.
yeah, I know I got some some stuff I did in the past, but y'all making it seem like people can't change.
Yes.
It make it seem like if God forgive me for my sins, why can't you forgive me for things I did? I'm trying to do for the better. I'm done the story. I'm done with the negative mindset. It starts with your mindset. You got to be strong-minded for the type of work. Because talking to the youth, and like you said, they gonna want the first thing they gonna know. All they know is negativity. So you can't judge them. You have to work with them. So it's like their mindset gonna be on something else because that's their environment, what they see every day. And we older, so kids, things going on, bills. Like they're not thinking about that. They thinking about how can I make some money? How can I get these new pair of shoes? How can I be flashing Instagram? So you have to meet them at their level.
Exactly.
And it's hard because a lot of people understand that. They think like, well, they need to stop doing that. You don't know how addicted it is to sip syrup or smoke weed every day and be doing that for years straight because you can see your cousin get his head blown off and now you got to cope with perks and all this type of stuff. So you got to be able to not judge them. A lot of kids are open and you got to be able to take that information and be like, okay, how could we work towards a plan? Always have a goal, always have a plan. But like you said, with our neighborhoods, your neighborhood eventually come around once you put in that work. And it's not always going to happen right away. And like I said, their support going to come from the outside. And then when they see what you're doing, then people want to jump on. So never stop working. Consistency is the key. As long as you do something every day, you get great at it, and then people start seeing like, man, he's serious about it, so I'm gonna respect him.
Exactly.
Most
I like to say, I always say this, the work gonna speak for itself, it's gonna tell itself. And especially when we're talking about these youth, right? How we bond, how we connect with these kids. And they always gonna say what you do. You don't gotta say what you do. The kid's gonna tell you what you do. Especially when you got a young man, a young woman who's hungry. They hungry, you don't know what's going on inside their household. Right. And so oftentimes, we mentor kids, we connect with the kids on the surface. Hey, how you doing? That's in the daytime. But what about in the nighttime when they really going through a thing and they make that phone call to you? Man, can you give me an Uber? Can you see my cash out for some food? Or Zelle? When the kid can call you and do that, that's when you know you're making an impact. Because he's doing it when don't nobody else see it. And now you answering a call when can't nobody else see it. So kids reach out to us and do the same thing. It's not one time I might kind of be like, man, what do you want? But at the same time, here. Then I'll call, man, you made it to the house? You got that food? Or they may say, man, thank you, I was hungry. That's what I do it for. Like you said, a proclamation paper don't mean nothing. All the accolades gonna come into action. You never gotta say what you do. The work gonna tell itself, right? And so I want to read something what a young man sent to us earlier. I don't even know him. So I was just riding and I saw this message. He said, he commented on a post earlier, and he said, 100 years, they come through in the clutch at the schoolhouse. These cats be spitting straight game to the youth. But just by him saying that piece, and what you said, Brother Jeremy, about being able to meet these kids and connect with them of where they are. So I don't even know who he is. But somehow one of us, or all of us, met with him, connected with him, and allowed him to express his thoughts in an audience or a platform so everybody can say, hey man, these guys right here have helped me and many others. And I think that's what it's about. How we can go back and really change the circumstances. You might can't change everybody, but just show this is why I'm doing it. And I'm not gonna stop because I was once him, or my little sister was once her, or my girlfriend, my wife was once her. And that's what we do. And again, shout out to you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And one thing that you guys are doing that works for you guys embracing who you are, taking 100 years and turning into something positive. And that's the biggest thing. A lot of people would be afraid to tell people, I got convicted, I'm a felon, on this and that. You guys are taking with your life experience
Right.
And y'all showing it like, this is the mistakes, these things I've been through, but now I'm doing something positive, and I'm talking to these kids, I'm changing. So y'all embracing the time. Y'all ain't letting the time do the time for y'all. Y'all like, nah, I'm gonna take this time and I'm turning to something positive.
Absolutely.
So y'all taking something, y'all branding yourself. You're not hiding. A lot of people, they try to hide it. They be scared. Oh, I don't want to say I've been through this, or I went to jail. You guys are talking about it, because these talks need to be talked about. Black people, are getting locked up, all around, United States, and it's like, these are things we need to talk about.
Yes,
How do we take
exactly.
something that we did when we were 16, 17, 18, and it's affecting us for the rest of our life? We can't talk about it. We can't do podcasts about it. We can't see how we're going to get through it. And we can't tell kids the mistakes we made to not go where we're going. A lot of people try to hide it. They get home and pretty much do the same thing and just stay out the way. But I think you guys are one of the first people I've seen that's really pushing, like, nah, I do 100 years, all three of us together. That's real. That's a lot of time. You guys been locked up longer than you guys been out. So it's like,
Absolutely.
people don't think about that. You guys didn't have time to do anything.
Right. And it's all about, being there, but how you disseminate and serve the information.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We did what we did, but now we understand that. Sometimes we go deep into it, but sometimes we don't. But also being able to, I think, to allow other people to say, hey, man, now go check it out and read it for your own, right? And then come back to us.
Yep.
Because that opened up new ideas and new opportunities for people to say, man, what are 100 years really about?
Yes.
You had something, 'cause I wanted to say
Yeah,
something real quick.
I just want to say this, is that, we can't ignore the fact that, mental illness is very real. It's very real, especially amongst our youth, our youngsters. And when I think about it, I reflect back on how I used to be. No emotions. Who could I talk to about my emotions? Did I know how to get in contact or identify my emotions? And I didn't. And I'm saying the same thing today with these youngsters. Because if you can go out and go blow somebody's head off and don't have any feeling about it, something wrong. Mental illness. Because we don't know what's going on, like Brother Fahim just said. It'd be a lot of things going on inside the home, that they don't want to share. So if we can give them a safe space where they can share these things, so they can get in tune with their inner emotions. Now, once they do that, then they can start to feel. I think twice about going inside your house. I think twice about blowing your head off, because now I understand. And so we really have to look at that, the mental illness piece. We really do.
I agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why I got the young men's group at Rise. I didn't realize how important it was until I started sharing. They started sharing. I realized that I'm getting therapy too.
Exactly.
And I'm realizing that talking to these youth, I'm seeing that we the same. No matter how old I am, the situations they're going through and stuff they talk about in these streets, it reminds me and grounds me. But also I'm seeing that, like you said, nothing changed. I'm seeing like, they ain't got nobody to talk to. I'm not really talking to nobody. I got a couple of mentors now, but I'm seeing like, man, this actually is healing, and I'm actually helping them, but they actually help me at the same time. And after these meetings and in these spaces that we hold, I actually feel lighter. Like I got a lot off my chest. And also, like you said, it give us the spark the brain to make us realize that before we make a decision, we actually gonna think about it, because we actually talk this through. We actually talk about the consequences behind doing something or something happening, and decisions that we make, how it can affect us. So these holding spaces and these groups, which you guys do, and all these other thug therapies and things like that, it help us, because as men, who can we talk to? Because the moment we start talking to somebody, oh, that's weak. Oh man, that mental illness, that's some sucker stuff. Man, get down your mind. Like, no, when you go through a breakup, you're going through depression. When you going through stuff, you got anxiety. So we can't talk about this thing because we men, and it's stuff that we do need to get off our chest and do need to let go. And I feel like, especially as black men, they tell us to, stick your chest out and to go take it out on somebody, or, quit doing that type of stuff. It's like, no, we need to decompress too. Exactly. What happens when the air, things like a balloon, expands, and eventually pops. And that's what happened to us. Yes, so it's sir. Like, we can't keep on keeping everything in. Eventually, we're going to get overwhelmed, and, the steam will come out, and that's what happens when we lose it. Yes, we can't think right.
I just wanted to add it too. It was profound what Fahim said, and along with what you said. in regards to just by you doing the work, you'll be recognized for the work, and people be looking when you think they ain't looking, or people hear about you when you think they don't hear about you. When we went to that charity event, and we was talking, Dante, we was talking to the people, and somebody just came up like, 100 years.
Yeah.
White lady, my son, I was a charitable event in Pleasant Hill. And she, like, my son called, talk about y'all all the time at juvenile hall. And I didn't even know who her son was. Like, she just telling me, I'm like, okay. She was so emotional. And so, like, it was like, it almost brought me to tears, but because it reminded me, it goes back to what Fahim was telling us, that just do the work. When you do the work, it's not about getting plaques and, be award shows and all that. I mean, the work that's helping bring change to the community is so important. And it's like the next generation. It's like, continue on to, breed positivity. If it's not, they gentrify the stuff much that we ain't even around.
Yep.
So, my next question to you is that, tell us, if you can, in brief, all the things that you do got going on at one time.
Okay. So what I do got going on right now, pretty much I'm in recreation centers. I'm in, places like Rise. I'm in a lot of alternative schools, especially in the Oakland area. That goes for Rugdale Street Academy. I'm in Oakland Tech. I'm in Rise. I'm in Tamalpais Middle School in Richmond. Library, 81st Street Library, every Tuesday, 5 o'clock, free programming. I got a lot of opportunities coming up. Like you said, people starting to hear about word of mouth from the work I do. And so now it's like I ain't got to really promote no more because the work is doing itself, because kids are everywhere and they're spreading the word. So now I'm getting emails of, hey, I'm interested in your program almost on a weekly few times. So it's just like, it's starting to become a blessing, because I remember sitting at the computer to my eyes burn, reaching out to people. And we all been there, Instagram, what's going on, what's happening, this and that. And it's just like, God got me to where, people reaching out to me. And, becoming your own boss is one of the best things that can happen. But also when you're doing the work, it comes back tenfold. Because when you help somebody, they help somebody else and they helped you. So, when the kids start talking about the work you do, like you just said, you be surprised. You surprise yourself. Like one young lady, she advocated for me to be in this to work at this one school, to the point where she was like, y'all need to bring them now. And I actually got the contract just because of her. Like, 'cause she's a senior, she said I want to do my senior project with them and blah blah blah. And I actually got that contract. So just always be good to people. You never know the power people got, and you got to watch the power of the tongue, so you can speak life to people, or you can actually kill people with your tongue. So one thing when I work with youth, I always try to, even if things don't work out or they get frustrated, I always try to double back and talk to them. Hey, what's going on? See who's upset, or what's going on with you, or checking with them on Instagram or something, or get a hold with them, because I understand, like, every day's not going to be perfect. When we work with youth, it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. People don't talk about how hard this work is, because one minute, since I ain't on that, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It's going to be the ones that defiant, that don't want to listen, that still ain't going to listen probably until they older, or until something happens to them. But you have to be patient. Patience is the key. Yes. And the work you're doing, like you said, people are always watching. And not what you post, what you say, how you carry yourself. Mm-hmm. And the moment you do something negative, they're going to say, I told you so. Oh, yeah. So they with this, they waiting.
They definitely waiting.
So with this work, you got to make sure that you're covered, stay strong, meditate, manifest, pray. And work with these youth, and make sure that you always speaking life, because the moment you start doing something negative, guess what? It will get out. Yes, sir. Like I said, you get in what you put out. So I always try to put peace and love, and hopefully that's what you receive back, because that's what you putting out. So in my music, it's all clean, no cussing, no negativity, because that's not what I'm trying to put out. So when you put out good, clean music, people respect your work. Yes. I make the youth think when they write music, because it's easy to say the N-word and kill this and that, but when you can't use none of that stuff, they actually got to write a song. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It ain't easy to write a song when you can't use filler words. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I make them expand their brain.
Very creative. They got to become very creative.
Got to. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. That's great. Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to Chevron. Chevron been sponsoring us, for the last couple years. So, let's give a shout out to Chevron, everything, what they do. I know a lot of people disagree with what they do, but hey, sometimes you got to play Robin Hood. I think that's what we do. I think we play Robin Hood. We go out and come back and give it to the people. You got to play Robin Hood. Who else gonna do it? And so that's what we about. Practicing and producing effective change. But before we close out, I would like to say, how do you put that shield around yourself? I know you say you got prayer, but you got any type of like accountability partners who you talk to really help you when you're going through a thing?
Yes, I want to say my wife. Probably one of the strongest persons I know. She refused to let me give up. To do this work, I was working in juvenile hall for a number of years, like 5 years, and I actually left to do this type of work. A lot of things happen. You want to do more, you got to be out more. So, go from making a lot of money to giving up everything to doing this work is a very big transformation in your life. It could affect your livelihood of how your life, progress. So where I'm at now is just like, I take this serious. This is 365. I got strong every time something happens. I talk to my wife. Is this a good idea? Should I do this? Should I move forward? Should I work with these people? So it's always good to talk to somebody. Right. Don't think that you can make decisions by yourself and think that you're strong enough to know what's going on, because somebody always see a bigger picture. You always want to say, what you think about this person? Read this email. What do you tell me? Always get like a second opinion on something, just so you can think a different way. I know most of the times we think that we can figure everything out, but you can't do everything by yourself. Right. You can't. It's impossible for one man to do everything. Always have somebody you can talk to. Always have somebody you can run. Somebody you trust. Somebody that's intellectual. Somebody that actually can, got some sense. That actually can tell you and that, right from wrong, and don't sugarcoat nothing. That's the best thing I can tell you, because when you talk to yes men or people that really don't know much, they can't really help you. You got to talk to somebody I can tell you, like, I don't think that's a good move, this and that, because this, and this can happen. And you're like, man, I didn't even think about that. Right. So you got to think about your brand. Y'all got to protect the 100-year brand. So if y'all get in bed with somebody that's not really, about what y'all pushing, but they want to buy y'all out or do this and this, because I run in several situations where people try to buy me out my own business, and I'm being honest. Like, they was like, oh, let's
stop right there.
Yep.
Then I want you to compute, because you just made some compute, and I want to forget. And you say, people try to buy you out, right? Have you ever had other entities of people try to come in and try to connive you out your business, try to trick you out your business? How did you deal with that? And then you keep going.
That's funny. I ain't gonna say no names,
no,
but it's basically people like your idea. They want to, and then it comes to, let me see your blueprint, can I see how y'all curriculum, they always go to, let me see what y'all do, how do y'all do it, can I sit in, how do you guys connect with the kids, and they always want to know more, they always want to see like what you have written up, because people think if I steal the blueprints, I can, that's all I need, all I gotta do is see how they do stuff, take it and add my touch to it, voila. So protect your work at all costs, because first thing people want to see is, how did I know it worked? Could you send me something over? Can't do this and this. So I'm learning, like, if I'm doing the work, I don't have to really sell you my product. Either you believe in it or not. I can tell you, we can talk about it. I can give you a brief description. Everything's on the website. That's what we have a website for. Everything's on the website. Go to my description. This and that. Why do I have to send you like a manifesto or anything, further than what you already know? That's general. If you want to buy the program, then I can send you a RFP, request for proposal, and then we can go over a little deeper in depth about what's going on. But for you, far as you want to know everything about all my programs, sit down and just have a Zoom meeting about everything, how I run stuff, you just taking my ideas. You just want to know more so you can build on top of yours. So you have to really watch out for the snakes. It's people that try to help you, and it's people that trying to take from you. And you always would know, because stuff they'll say. Yep. It'll kind of, like, the devil always expose himself if you pay attention. So they'll say like, hey, I got this coming up. I need to know ideas about this. What do you think about this? How do you guys do this, this, and this, and this, and this? And you start realizing, like, you want everything to benefit you. This is not helping. You're a business person. So anytime people get business minded, they always think about the business first. So you have to really pay attention to the people that want to take from you, because it always will display itself. Yeah. And once it displays itself, you got to know how to not give them the information they're looking for, and unless it benefits you in a way to actually partnership and or collaborating. They'll never let nobody say, hey, I'm going to hire you, but you're going to be working for, I don't know, so-and-so, but you can't use 100 years. Take that stuff off. You work for us. Like, no, dude, I got my own nonprofit or whatever, or LLC. This is what I represent. This is me. You can't, so respect yourself enough to you can walk away from some people. Yeah. And they'll throw money out.
Real fast.
And you be like, ooh. But then think about that. That's why they say, you selling your soul, because now you selling off for the dollar, and then once you get that money, it ain't gonna mean nothing. You became a boss to a worker quick because somebody took your idea, and then as soon as you signed that paper, they got creative control of your whole organization.
Right.
So that happened to me. Somebody said like this. This is recently. I'm gonna be honest. This is recently. I couldn't use my name. They wanted me to work, run an organization, do the same thing I'm doing, but. What that mean for my company? Well, you gonna get paid handsomely.
Yeah, I heard that.
You gonna get paid six figures. You gonna get paid six figures. All right, but I see. Think about me. I was making six figures before,
Right.
so that don't mean nothing to me. Money. I doing this because I feel good being the boss. Get up, do what I want, go. But you throw me some money and me running the organization is only gonna better you. What about my brand that I put blood, sweat, and tears, and that I pretty much die behind? This is what I represent. This is what I built. I put hours behind this. I'm not gonna let nobody take it from me until I'm ready. You can't trick me out with something that I already built. So
Bottom line.
yep. So we got to pay attention to the detail. That's all.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I'll say that we encounter a thing or two like that when somebody told us for me to come in, I had to get the largest piece of the pie because of who I am, and diminish our value. You know what I mean? We love the concept of what you guys do and who you are, but for me to come to the table, I got to, I got to see my end before I can see your end. So we went through that, but that was powerful.
But how did you deal with it?
I looked at you and Dante and said, I don't think that's a good move for us because it's about us. We built this from the mud. We came from the bars to the mud. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we have lived experience. A guy told us, man, that said that you guys are PhDs and you lived experience. That blew my mind. He say when you dealing with other people, right, about what you do, know that you have a PhD in what you do. And all you have to do is put value to it, believe in it, and push it. Mm-hmm. No one can beat you at what you do because your lived experience dictate that.
Yes, sir.
So we learned that. I mean, yes, challenges. Sometimes I get goofy. You know what I mean? If I say you're getting goofy, like you said, we need that. Hey, man, wake your game up. We need that because it's all out of love, man, and appreciation for what we have. And again, man, I hear what you said, man. I just wish that you could have put this hat on. We got to talk. Woo, man, that young energy, man. I mean, we just want to grow, man. And grow and look at each other as leaders. Mm-hmm. All of us come to the table as leaders. You know what I mean? Because we come from a community that needs us. Mm-hmm. And we coming back to the community. We ain't trying to elect a leader. We trying to become the leader.
Yep.
We elect somebody way from Connecticut. Okay, you be the city council for Richmond. You moving from Connecticut.
Yep.
Okay. We do that. But we can't vote for ourselves, because I grew with you, man. I ain't about to let this cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man, but other than that, man, everything you said was powerful, man. I'm gonna get out the way, man. I'm so energetic and juiced. I'm ready to go mentor right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you about to end it, but the main thing I noticed too is don't put a price on yourself too. A lot of us is quick. Make sure you're doing anything that make sure you want to do it, and your work. Make sure that your work, your prices are your prices too. So like whoever that was talk about this so much, that's probably thought he deserved. So you ain't got to work with people. If some people is too high and this and that, and you feel like okay. That's cool, but sometimes for you guys, if you guys doing work, somebody want to lowball you, don't mean to take the money. All money ain't good money, because sometimes you disrespect yourself by even taking that little bird money, and you be getting paid this much, So some people got to respect the work that you do and your time, because time is precious because we get 24 hours. It all depends on what we do with them, right? So you got to realize some stuff you have to make sure is it worth it. So if I'm doing this work, I'm taking it, but it's worth it because I'm getting so much more out of it. Opportunities ain't gonna come from this opportunity. I'm gonna get here, here, and here. So you got to understand the opportunities which you can miss out, and some stuff is just for money. So you got to be able to know which ones is worth it, know which one's not worth it. So I think that, when it comes to this work, you have to really pick and choose. Where you want to go, where you want to attend. It's always going to be events. It's always going to be things going on. But what event that's going to be impactful? What event that I can meet people? What event that I can promote my brand and come out on top, and bring more people to my space and do more things, or be able to meet these politicians and people in the city and do stuff. So all we got to do is be mindful of what's going on with ourselves and how we want to move in this world, and what we represent and what we stand for. So once we know what we stand for, we can't fall for anything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anybody got any, before we close out, Dante, Patrick, any closing thing you want to get to the people?
I just want to acknowledge the brother, Jeremy, man, good work. Beautiful podcast, beautiful having you on here, sharing, what you do. Because it's all about saving these youth, these kids out there if we make early death decisions, and just want to say to the people, y'all tune in, to brother Jeremy.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Sir.
I just want to say thank you, for enlightening us about just what you do, the work that you do, and gave me some teed concepts that I need to apply in my life and continue, to make my way back, and possibly be in my community as well as this thing grows.
Absolutely.
And other than that, man, I'm just, like I say, man, it's flabbergasted hearing other people doing the same kind of particular work that we doing. So I'm always welcome to that, and it's a pleasure and an honor to meet you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Exactly. In close, you can follow 100 Years. Our website is 100years.biz. Our Instagram is 100 Years DOP. You can follow us on Facebook, again, at 100 Years Enterprise. You go to our YouTube channel on 100 Years Podcast. You can see our podcast on Spotify, as well as Apple's podcast, and it's coming on Patreon soon. I know we've been talking about it, but it's coming. It's in the mix. And then again, shout out to Chevron. She got the 100 Years Enterprise hat. She got a 1HYE. We got the wristbands. We got a beautiful team of brothers. We're about 8 strong right now. We building with our mentorship. Going inside the high schools, staying inside the community, like the brother Jeremy said, we got to stay grounded, people. If you really want to grow in this industry, in this business, look at it as how you treat your life. If you treat your life and you spend your life with accountability and put that God force behind it, everything else is going to pay off. And again, we are 100 Years Enterprise, and who we got?
You got Jeremy, Stu 212.
And where can they find you at again, Jeremy?
So Instagram, Stu STU 212 music, and then my website is stu212music.org.
Absolutely. We got my man Gabe behind the camera, G26 Productions. Follow Gabe on Instagram. And again, we are 100 Years Enterprise, Consequences of the Street Life. Remember, there's 3 ways it's going to go. You can go right, you can go left, or you don't want to go 6 feet under. And it's easy, right? So just, to the youth out there, we want to let you all know that we care. And we didn't care, we wouldn't be sitting behind these microphones right now, sharing our stories, sharing our experiences, and bringing good men on here. Peace out. We 100 Years Enterprise. My name is Fahim.
Dante.
Patrick,
And we are, who are we?
100 Years.
Enterprise.
All right. Peace out.